We're at the Palm Beach Casino in the heart of London for the Party Poker World Open 5. 48 poker players from around the globe have flown in for this prestigious event. And with a $250,000 top prize and some of poker's greats at the felt, the competition is sure to be fierce. With the winner going straight through to the final and the runner-up getting a second chance in the playoffs, nobody wants to go out on the bubble.
A good start for online qualifier Patrick Funke. He's edged ahead with over 500,000 chips. Phil Laak and Andy Greekfish have been dominating the table with their chat.
Pull out your money, make arrangements, talk to your girlfriends, get some pocket change on the table.
Don't show the head.
And they're looking good with 446,000 and 461,000. The two British young guns have been playing great poker, but are just below their starting stacks. JP Kelly with 217,000 and Praz Bansi 235,000. Online qualifier Wayne O'Brien 243K. Party Poker Pro Remy Biechel 206,000, and in trouble with just 3 big blinds, it's Simon Zach, who's put himself in jeopardy with one of the most outrageous laydowns you'll ever see. What just happened?
That's impossible. I mean, I can't believe what I'm seeing here, Jesse.
Bowler hats and caviar. Action from the Palm Beach Casino here, and I'm joined by poker's ambassador, Mike Sexton.
Well, here's a case where the short stack hurts Praz. He can't afford to play a hand with 8-7 suited, because if he just limps in or raises and somebody comes over the top, he's got to give it up because of his chip stack.
And Simon Zach will shove, as they say, with a lot of that. That's certainly in his range. It's a pair.
Well, it's the 2 5s. In America, we call it the speed lemon hand, 55, but certainly anybody with his chip stack is going to move all in here with this hand.
And if JP Kelly passes, what he's got, Wayne. Oh, that's. Do you want to take on Simon's stack with this?
Please.
Well, I think you do. I would make the call with this hand against a $40,000 stack. 44,000 in total. He's got 7,000 out there. So it is 37,000 more, which would hurt him because he's only got a slightly over 200,000 himself.
Why did you ask for a count?
Sorry, I stepped out.
And of course, he's still got a player sitting behind him. So
Scary, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't?
I haven't looked at anything yet. I'm just wondering how much he has left.
if he was in the big blind here, I think he'd call on a flash. But maybe it's a marginal decision in the small blind.
Seems to be trying to make sure he's got a read on Wayne before he makes up his mind. Does he?
Well, Jesse, he's in a position he's going to have to gamble a little bit, try to get some chips too.
He's re-raised, and I think it's about a minimum re-raise.
The raise is 29.
Well,
Okay,
what he's trying to
88.
do is isolate himself against the all-in player, where the most he can lose is 44,000 in total. And certainly, Mr. O'Brien is not going to call that re-raise, so he's gotten himself in a position where he's got the 2 overcards. He's in a race situation, and he's going to be satisfied with this.
And Simon Zach will have to be satisfied with this as well. It's
Come on,
about
boys.
50-50, but he has to win it to stay in it.
What was the flop?
Well, you see him chewing his gum a lot faster now. Knows if he loses this pot, he's going to be gone. Jack comes right on the flop. That means Simon is going to have to catch a 5 to stay alive in this tournament. Nothing else will do for him. And a 3 comes off on the turn, so he's got 2 outs, as we say, on the river. Must catch a 5 or hit the road.
And he's gone, Simon Zach, back to Blackpool. And Mike, I think at the end of the day, he's going to think long and hard about that fold he made with the 2 pair. can only assume he misread his hand.
Well, Jesse, I agree with you. And because of that hand, in my view and in your view, he doesn't deserve to win this heat. He deserves to be heading back to Blackpool by laying that hand down.
Heat 2 has lost its first player, unfortunately, for Simon. You got short stacked towards the end, which doesn't leave you a lot of room to maneuver. But there was a hand earlier on where you called a raise with a speculative hand and hit 2-pair on the flop. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Well, it's the first time I know that I've hit 2-pair on the flop. I've genuinely made a mistake. When I looked at the hand, I thought I'd hit top pair, the 10, and didn't realise that I'd hit the 4. I thought I had 10-5 of diamonds. So, again, that's how I've played today and made some bad decisions. Now I didn't realise I hit 2 pairs. So I didn't want to look down back at my cards, give a tell away to it. And I think that he had a really big hand as well, but obviously if I knew now that I'd had 2 pairs, it's a bad mistake.
It's really irritating for you now, I suppose. It's very, very frustrating to find out. Sometimes, obviously, mistakes do happen, misreading the board or misreading your hand. So how do you set that aside now for going back into your next game?
Yeah, I'll set that aside. It was just completely, I don't know. I mean, you surprised me now, so I'll just have to go back and look and think about it. I'll probably kick myself now all the way home.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, no problem. And a lesson to be learnt, go back and check sometimes before you throw your cards away. But I didn't want to, I was thinking about what move I was going to make and then didn't want to check. Perhaps I should have checked before I looked.
Well, as I say, I'm very sorry to be the bearer of bad news, and commiserations on going out first here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For JP Kelly, that has pushed him up near 300K, which is where he started out at, and he'll be happy. He's got a little maneuvering room right now.
But we can't do it here. This is too
Some
serious,
ways, Mike, as we said, the seal might be broken now. One player's got knocked out.
Yeah, I know, but still there's a lot to win.
It shouldn't be this way, but the other players might feel a little freer with their
Sexton
chips.
was looking at my cards.
No, you're right. We've got 4 guys on sort of the short stack now, 3 guys that have a fair amount of chips, so I do think the short stacks have got to start playing if they want visions of taking down this title.
Isolating with Jack Queen, and I'm sit folding a much bigger hand than that. I mean, what can I do?
This fold is respect for Machine Gun Kelly. That's what
Do
that
you know
was.
what? I haven't looked. You know that I haven't looked because I know you watch everything. I'm going to call in the dark. There you go. All right.
It's the Andy show now.
My
looked,
guess
he
is
knows, he
JP
watches
Kelly
everything,
raises
he don't
all the
miss nothing.
time
I've
here.
not
What do you
looked.
think, Mike? He
Let's
knows.
play cash game.
Well, the guy could have a hand here, and if you raise it and he comes back over the top of you, but you're right. That is a brilliant raise right there.
Just watch everything. It's Machine Gun.
Do you know, like, I feel like I'm being a little run over here, Praz. Don't wet yourself. He's trying not to look. Do you know what? You know I never looked.
Now, if he knows he hasn't
Hoping
looked,
God's
it could be a good time to re-raise right here. Well, what a play by JP, and I'll tell you the truth. He's held no cards at this table. He held aces one time and the button. He won the blinds. Nobody called, but other than that,
Machine Gun
he has just
Kelly.
chopped away, picking up blinds to stay alive here. Jesse really hasn't picked up a hand, but has done very well to have the amount of chips he does have.
You know, Mike, not only has JP Kelly not held any cards, he's missed every flop. I mean, and he's still 329,000. He's 13 of the 15 hands he's won have been won pre-flop, and that's not just opening raises, it's re-raises. It's just coming over the top, getting the money in.
Why things are going all of a sudden, you know?
Well, for a guy having no cards, he's actually a
I
winner
can't
in this
come
game.
back forever.
He started with 300,000. He's now got 329.
I've never seen my bloody cards to show me. Look, there they are. Look, I'm playing the game. I'm playing this like cash game. Look, I'm not looking. You know I never looked at my cards. I know your beady eyes are everywhere like that. It's like you could tell me the last time he raised. Go on, tell me. Tell me the last time he raised.
Why would I give you that information?
Right. Tell me the... Okay.
Well, Praz has picked up a pair, and when you're on a short stack, you're going to play it for sure.
35,000 total.
Yeah, he's gone with a 35,000 raise out of 178,000
I'm really
stack,
unhappy with
or
this.
excuse me, a
So-
200,000 stack.
Well, Remy is going to make a move right here for all his chips. I have no doubt about that. You're not just going to call here. You're just going to go with it. Somebody beats this hand, they beat it, and there he goes. He's gone all in like I think most players would do with that chip stack and that hand.
And the decision is going to be on Praz Bansi, who...
I think he's going to play without a doubt. But we shall see. Yep, Praz is already reaching for his chips. I don't think there's any question he was going to play this hand if somebody came over the top of him. Just going to try to win a race and get some chips here. Not going to be bullied out.
I'm forced.
Well, he sees it the same way you do, Mike. And
111 more.
111.
Yeah, 111.
At some point, you got to gamble to try to get some chips, and I believe this is one of those times.
I call.
Well, win or lose a pot, I salute Praz for making this play. You know, he knows he's probably in a race, and that's exactly the case. You got to win races to win tournaments.
Did you?
Let's see which one of these guys are going to get lucky.
What's the etiquette on that? No, if I had a
Praz
six or an
has
ace or a king, am I
a
supposed to
few
say
chips back. Not many. Would be a second chance if he loses this hand. For Biechel, it's all in.
Well, it's come ace, king, jack, a nightmare flock
I guess I can say now.
for Praz right there. He now has to catch a 6 to win this pot and stay alive in this tournament.
If it's not going to be a 6, a big diamond would help. That's no good.
Yep. So the 4 spade comes off. We're down to the river. Praz must catch a 6 to stay alive. Nothing else will do. Doesn't happen. 9 comes off. And there's a case you just can't blame the guy for going all in right there. Just wasn't meant to be for Praz tonight.
For Remy Biechel, though, back up to 300K.
Join us after the break when Heat 2 continues here at the Palm Beach Casino in London for the Party Poker World Open 5. Welcome back to the Palm Beach Casino in London for the Party Poker World Open 5. We've lost Simon Zach, but 7 players remain, so let's get down to the table.
Discipline was the word I keep thinking.
All right.
Discipline.
If I don't win this heat, then you know that's what's going to be happening, you know?
I like it. The problem is I'm getting the pain too much to be able to, you can't just talk about giving the pain because there's too much taking the pain.
This is just about what you're waiting for.
Yeah, believe me, JP tickled to death to pick this hand up right now. And it's not going away. I don't care who raises it.
Certain things you just are never
I
getting
didn't
away
realise we
from.
kept on playing
You're
limit.
never getting away from
It's
queens.
limit raise Kelly, formerly known as
with
Machine
high
Gun
blinds
Kelly.
at this stage. And Wayne just not finding the spots he needs.
Yeah, made a good lay down there with an ace-3 suited, actually.
It's Palm Beach Casino just starting to fill up in the background. Playing the fruit machines, as they're called back there. Everyone's starting to pour in. There'll be cash games running later on. And Remy,
Do you want me to look so you get a read?
You know, Jesse, he had a bit of a tell there. If you'd replay the way he looked at his 2 cards, you could tell when he sweated the first card it was the ace. Even though we couldn't see it, but you know it was just by looking at his facial actions. And then he sweated the second card and obviously didn't play it, but
listen,
I think it was a bit of a tell when he sweats one card at a time like that. When you can tell when he's got a good one.
There you go. Because I know if I beat him in a pot, I'm going to win the
JP
heat.
just made
Anyone
this a
who runs that
minimum raise, and that's brought
I'll
the
check.
Greekfish in with the ace-10.
Well, he's checked it in the dark, and this hand could get the Greekfish in trouble here. JP with the overpair, the Greekfish with second pair.
JP just working out the best way to get on. He's certainly, in his mind, got enough to get the chips in.
Well, he checked in the dark, and here
I
comes
beat him in the
JP.
pot with a call.
38,000.
And he beats him in the pot with a call.
Given 2
Now, Kelly's going to have a decision here. A lot of times, Mike, if it comes a blank, players will check the turn knowing they can get value on the river. Or they'll bet here hoping to get on and stack off.
Well, obviously you're mildly fearful that the guy might have had an 8-9 here and made the straight, but when you've got the overpair, I don't believe you can just check it down here. I believe you have to bet this hand. Just in case your opponent had a 10-9 or a jack-9 where he might have a straight draw, but that's not the case. Now the 3 comes off. By checking on the turn, I believe JP is going to get paid off on the river here when he bets if the Greekfish doesn't even bet in front of him.
Greekfish has checked it. And in the Greekfish's mind right now, he could have ace-king, ace-queen, JP Kelly. He's going to have to pay this off, isn't he?
I think he's going to pay it off for sure. He's paying it off because his opponent checked on the turn. And you're saying, why is he checking on the turn? He wouldn't check an overpair or an ace-jack in that situation. Give me a chance to beat him.
I'm beat. I must be. I must be. The only problem is, I'm not putting you on the hand that you're meant to have. I think you hit an absolute miracle on the turn, and that's what made your hand.
He's fearful as beat, but he's misread what he's got, that's for sure.
It takes a very courageous man like J.P. Kelly to make that check on the turn.
It's true.
You know, it's the bigger picture, Mike. It is all about this bet on the river and risking losing those chips that are already in the pot.
We can see he's beat, but when you're sitting there the way this hand was played, you so badly want to call with 2
I'll call the
tens.
clock on myself.
He's calling the clock on himself, Mad Marty.
Wow! All of a sudden, Mike, you think he might be able to lay this down? All of a sudden.
I do think he's capable of laying it down, but I think it's a very tough lay down to make, the way the hand was played. And a much easier lay down if his opponent would have bet on the turn. I think you can get away from this hand. Wow, what a lay down by the Greekfish there.
It's one of them weird ones where
How much
I tell you, Mike, you got to give him credit. I mean, JP has played this hand like a champion, and Greekfish got away from it.
Sure
he called
did.
with the 4s against Laak, laid down the ace-10 against JP.
if he had aces, it definitely wasn't the ace of spades or the ace of hearts.
Well, Jesse, can you remember back when we started this final table, all the laughing and joking and jovialness? Take a look at it now. The game faces are on, and you don't see all the laughing and joking that was going on early at this final table, and that's usually the case in these events.
Get it, boys.
Mike, I believe the Praz Bansi has announced all in the blind. He's in the big blind here, and it's 20 of his 47,000. Yeah, he stuck his chips in there.
Yeah, he's not even announced it. He's put him out there. And, you know, maybe it's just to scare everybody out. He's got the 10-7 of diamonds, so he put him out there anyway, but wow, he's got the perfect hand against Wayne O'Brien here in my mind.
Okay.
He's got him cut off here. He's
You know,
got the overcard.
You're winning.
Good luck.
Yeah, actually, he's sorry. He had $67,000. This is actually
40% of a
not
straight
a
flush.
teeny
versus-
pot.
Oh, wow.
Well, you see the relief look on Praz's face
40%
right
of the
there when his
straight.
opponent turned up the 8 high.
Gonna hit something.
So he is in a dominating position, nearly a 70% favorite to win this pot. And he flops 2 diamonds on top of it. So really, Mr. O'Brien's got to catch an 8 or 2 running cards to make a straight.
He hit the 8.
Unbelievable. The offsuit 8 comes off. Praz now must catch a 10 or a diamond to win this pot, or he's going to be out of here. That is unbelievable. He got the dream scenario when his opponent turned up his card. Now he's been outdrawn on the turn. Can he outdraw him on the river? No, it's come 8-8. His opponent hit the 2 cards, you know, that could both beat him. Unbelievable bad luck for Praz tonight.
Some days it's not your day, and some days tomorrow's not your day either. Poor Praz. And this guy, I mean,
boy.
he has played some poker today. It was all for naught.
Even when you
6 players only now. Wayne O'Brien still on the short stack. But I'll tell you, it's pretty tight between the top 4, Mike.
Well, indeed it is. It's going to be a tough battle to win this table. You know, we've got some premium players here.
When you're all in with 7-10, you don't often expect to be dominating your opponent. You were, and it still didn't work out. We're sorry to see you go. But talk to us about your play today here at the table.
I actually don't think I played that great today. I don't know, sometimes I'm a bit hit and miss sometimes. And today, just like every time I tried to push the action a bit, I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit hard on myself. Maybe I was a bit unlucky in a few situations as well because I just ran into hands. And a lot of the time in Hold'em, you know, you don't run into big hands. But today it just seemed like I couldn't win many pots.
It's almost over.
And I'll tell you the truth, even though
And what's the
J.P.
next
Kelly
play?
is sitting in like 4th place, in
What's
my
the next-
mind, he's going to be the guy to
15-30?
beat here. I mean, he has really played some terrific poker at
Price
this
of milk has
table.
gone up.
Hadn't caught nearly the cards anybody else has.
15-30.
But he is alive and well.
5 hands?
This is quite intimidating.
You know, these guys have played, they've played a good long time, and it's only, I think, the level of competition and the fact that all these guys seem to be expert survivalists, Mike, where they're still six-handed. It's amazing.
Man, look at this. J.P. Kelly has raised this hand with a 6-3. Unbelievable.
And this is just, I think, trying to make some arrangements. He knows the blinds are going up. You've got to get in there and do something.
He's not going to like getting action here. Ace-7 of hearts for Phil Laak.
Great
he
stuff.
has come back over the top. That's just a terrific re-raise.
Sure is.
Most people would just call with that hand, and I guarantee if an ace doesn't come off and the guy makes a continuation bet, he's going to win the pot. But here's a case where it's another 112,000 to JP, who's got no chance or intention.
Cool.
He's gone all in. He's gone all in,
All
Mike.
in.
He has re-shoved, and Phil instantly passes. I mean,
That is just incredible. Folks, take your hat off and salute this guy. I'm telling you, he is a real poker player. To make that play like that for all your dough, where if the guy's got a hand, you're going broke and going out of here, that is amazing.
Phil Laak was trying to do to JP what JP had been doing to him, and JP saw that, acted on it. I mean, how strong is that?
Let me tell you something. I love the play Phil Laak made. He came over the top with the ace-7. 99 times out of 100, the guy's going to throw away a 6-3, but not JP Kelly. He came right back and re-raised all his chips all in to get Phil Laak to lay that hand down. So obviously he's got a terrific read on Phil Laak. He's done that several times and taken pots away from him. Just beautiful, beautiful poker. Unbelievable.
Well, the truly great players, they can outplay the world-class players, and this is exactly what JP Kelly is doing. He's taken this to a new level. Both the Greekfish and Patrick, as you've mentioned, Mike, if they don't start making some more moves, the blinds are going to eat them up.
And the Greekfish has all of a sudden gotten very tight as well.
Let's pretend you have tens and I have king jack of clubs. If I can see your hand face up, you might even want me to call. I mean, vice versa. Either way, it's if they. I mean, the money in the pot's better from a money perspective, but you got to have all the chips to win this thing. You know, how do you get them unless you get in there sick? Well, you got to get in there, right?
These blinds now sky high, 15 and 30,000.
Well, he's got the chip lead. You know, he was passive when he didn't have chips. Now he's got the lead, and he's just putting the hammer down on him now.
And the blinds are so big, Mike, that basically, if the pot hasn't been opened yet, and it's to you, you're going to have to get some chips in there. You got to pick up that money.
Oh, and look at this. Remy moving all in with a 10-9 of diamonds. And JP, pot committed, is going to make this call here and going to be wild when he sees he's got the best hand.
Absolutely. And he made that call quick. He knew he had to call there to a re-raise. Wow. And Remy is saying, wow. Can't believe he's gotten called, but the math dictated it, didn't it?
Well, he had pot odds, as we say, to make the call. Remy should have known that. In my view, Remy could have played this hand better, whether he wins it or not. And I'm saying, by just calling before the flop and moving all in on the flop, no matter what comes out there.
Yeah, stop and go.
You give yourself two chances to win the pot. Well, a jack comes right off on the flop. So JP is going to be rewarded for being aggressive here, it looks like. Remy's going to have to catch two running cards to win the pot. Well, there's one of them. He's got the open end straight now. He can win the pot with an 8 or a king. Must catch an 8 or a king to stay alive in this tournament.
Ooh.
Well, a 5 comes off. JP Kelly rewarded for aggression. And no matter how Remy decided to play that pot, even if he did as I suggested, he was going to get broke. He was going to go out.
He hung around for quite a long time, Remy Biechel, over 125 hands, but out in 6th. And Frenchman, quite a good grinder and survivor.
Fiver left at the table here at the Palm Beach Casino in London as we lose Remy Biechel. The action continues at the Party Poker World Open 5.
And the opportunity now, JP Kelly, to sort of get in there and use that little 250,000 lead he has on the rest of the players.
Play the rush.
I'm
Trying to keep the
going to
pressure
play the
on,
cards
I
this
guess.
one.
Definitely going to raise now. You talk exactly the same crap as me. Big raise,
Meantime,
huh?
it's the Unabomber making the moves now.
Yeah, he's filling his oats.
Okay, raised 78,000.
He's going to raise it to 78,000 here.
All in.
And he's not going to like it when Patrick goes all in over the top of him
Trying not to wet
with the
myself
two
up.
tens.
Oh!
But he's going to get played with. I'm certain of that. We're going to have a monster clash between the Unabomber and Patrick.
I call.
Oh, wow.
This is not just for the chip lead. This is for about $1 million. 1.154. The pot says, wow.
Yep, it's unbelievable, but it's the classic race situation.
I have two
The two
overs.
over cars versus the under pair. Let's see who gets lucky to win this pot. Whoever does will be the monstrous chip leader at this table.
This is for half the chips in play.
I was hoping you had ace queen.
And there's not much between
This is a
the.
big
I'm not
pot.
sure who covers who. They're very close in chips, Mike, these two.
Well, certainly you can't blame either player for getting all their money in. So far, so good for Phil Laak. He has outflopped his opponent. He now has the lead with two aces.
That bullet for the Unabomber.
Oh, well, it is a club. A club comes off.
Or queen.
Phil can win the pot with a queen or a club.
What?
Unbelievable bad luck for Phil Laak right there.
You're winning pre-flop.
Plays itself.
And the three of spade comes off. That is tough luck for the Unabomber, Phil Laak. But I can tell you, folks, he takes beats as well as anybody in the poker world. Most guys would be in a rage, want to turn the table over right now.
Look how classy Phil Laak is, Mike. All he's doing is counting these chips down. He must be gutted inside. For Patrick Funk, he is halfway
So much for
there.
voluming up. I thought if I had all that volume, you know, I would do great things.
First player to crack $1 million.
I'm stuck in the middle of
Well, and they also won that pot by going all in. You got to give him credit for that. Had he just called Phil Laak's raise, he'd probably thrown his two tens away on the flop when it come ace jack deuce.
Wayne O'Brien still hanging around here, 300K.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to hang himself on this pot with this hand. And no, he lays
I
it
guess
down.
this is not a surprise. I
Good
think
luck,
it's 46.
sir. Good luck, good luck.
This is number one. By the way, it's not just.
Yeah.
And
Unbelievable.
three,
Again,
though. I have to
Patrick
get
picks up
called and
another
all.
hand. I wouldn't just call. I'd come over the top to shut everybody out here if I could with the ace queen. It's different if you move up one spot where you make more prize money, where you don't mind if other guys come in to give more people a chance to knock a guy out. But in this format, where it's winner take all essentially, you don't want any more competition. You don't want anybody else in there. You just want to lose the fewest chips possible if you lose the
Wanna
pot,
finish the job?
and just take it down if you win it. And poor Phil
Pass.
Laak
Pass.
dominated again.
yeah, he found a very nice hand, as it turns out, for the all-in, but not
I need it.
nice enough. And
I call.
Well,
46.
he's going to laugh at this when he sees it. He's
I have the famous ace.
Yeah, he's not going to like it though, but he'll take it like a man, like he always does. And who knows, maybe he can get lucky and
This is where
outdraw his
ace queen is a
opponent.
big
it's
favorite.
been known to happen 23% of the time anyway.
See if it can happen here. Well, it's come ace, queen, jack.
King.
Scenario.
So now Phil Laak needs a king to make an ace high straight to win this pot. A 10 won't help him anymore. He is looking for a cowboy. Otherwise, he'll be riding his horse out of here. There it is. He catches it straight on the turn. Now he's got to dodge an ace or a queen, which would give the win to his opponent. A 10 would give him a tie. But there you go. A little justice here maybe for Phil
Thank
Laak.
you for letting me stay with you nice people for a little bit longer. It's an honor that I take.
He has been on some roller coaster ride. Talk about a
Not
bucking
lightly.
bronco. They
Nice to
threw
be
him
here.
off. He climbed back on. There he is. 139,000. Feels like a free roll, doesn't it?
Well, it is a free roll for him right now. He knows he had to catch the king to win that pot. Still dodged the full house. He did it. He stays alive. We've seen people with shorter stacks win tournaments, Jesse. Anything possible in poker.
Oh, sure. 139,000. It's like a fortune right now. Phil Laak doesn't. He's got enough to fold a hand. I mean, it's.
Is it going in
He
the
can
middle?
actually wait on the blind now, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, it is. 137. I'm pot committed, boys.
Well, now he.
2 more to
he
go.
Just moved him in. I feel he might have moved
wouldn't
him in
mind
the
a bunch of
dark.
folds
I
on the way
didn't
to
see him
2
look
more
at
to
his
go, yeah.
cards.
No, he did peek at him. He did look at
peeked.
his cards, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't go in the dark. Oh, well, he's going to get played with again, and he's up against the same hand, an ace-queen. This time it's suited by his opponent, and again, Phil Laak's got a hand.
Let's see what I, buddy.
And a call.
Well, here we go, another classic race. Phil Laak lost the last race he played in for all his chips. Will it happen again?
Look how much is in this pot
Well,
all of a
let's see.
sudden.
Let's see if I win, then we can count.
289,000.
It's kind of a moot point to count right now.
Obviously, this could make Wayne
about
O'Brien
137.
very healthy, but for Phil Laak, he could be in this kind of spot that could.
Get him right back in the hunt here. So far, so good on the flop for him. It's come king 6-4. He's out in front with the 2 8s. Well, 5 of hearts comes off.
Don't even have to sweat a heart, do you?
That's a good card for him because now he won't lose to the ace or queen of hearts. And the jack of hearts comes off.
Okay, let's do the.
Phil Laak is going to double up yet again in back-to-back pots.
This is the proverbial
That's
double-double.
1 more to go, and then I have like a heartbeat, you know?
Look, he's not even the short stack anymore.
Right now, the doctor
Nope.
said you can leave the hospital on your own on your own cognizance,
137.
but we advise not to. You know,
You're in.
one more double up, they're going to say you can't be here anymore. You know, you're taking a
You're
precious.
banging. I'd rather get them in first, and I'll put the first race in. I'll be happy then. That was one of them loose ones, you know.
Pass.
This will be interesting here to see
Hey
how
Marty, do you remember
Patrick
what my
plays
small
this
stack
hand.
was?
We've seen him make raises with big cards all the time. Now he's got the suited connectors. How's he going to play them? Just lays them down. Unbelievable.
Oh, 137, I think, right?
And
Well,
JP has been very good tonight at reading Greekfish. Is it time to shove? Nope.
No.
well, this is the first time he hasn't come over the top here, so we are going to see a flop. And
Right.
it's come king 5-3.
45.
Greekfish has flopped top pair.
JP will have to be careful here, Mike. If he puts any chips in, I don't think he's getting them back out.
Well, he's read him perfectly every time so far tonight, but not this time, as he makes the call with bottom pair.
Before you whacked me.
He
in that
calls
big
him
hand,
because you just
there was
suspect
a
a guy
hand
would raise before the flop if he had a king in his hand in the small blind. That didn't happen. Now an ace comes off,
Not the hand where when you beat me, you had around.
and now it's gone check, check.
Before that, you were down to 300. Why did you get down to 300? Who beat you in the hand?
And now a deuce of hearts comes off.
15 months ago?
The Greekfish is checked.
What was the biggest hand you
Does
won?
that-
JP puts him on 2 kings or 2 5s. He might make a play here to try to win this pot. And indeed, that's exactly what's going to happen. I do think JP believes he's beat. He believes his opponent's got 2 kings or 2 5s. But unfortunately for him, his opponent has made 2 pair on the river and is going to look him up.
I'll call.
Call.
Yep.
Pair of threes.
He has called. Greekfish trapped him there, induced the bluff. I think that river card was.
I realised
I do believe you're right, Jesse. The 2 pair gave him confidence to make that call, even though essentially he could beat the same man with just 2 kings. But I do think it was an easier call for him to make because he made the 2 pair there.
And somebody re-raised. Oh, you raised.
And right now, I think JP is kicking himself for not raising him before the flop. It's a strategy that's worked for him all night long. And I believe had he made a big bet before the flop, he was going to win that pot instead of lose it. But still, I'm sure JP is criticizing himself, not for the bet on the river, because he did give himself a chance to win the pot by betting, but rather by not raising the guy pre-flop like he'd done previously every time the guy limped in.
Laak. Does he have enough chips to pass in his mind?
Yes. And indeed, he does pass.
All in.
Wow.
Patrick has gone all in with King Jack.
Now that's a big bet. It's obviously he's betting as much as Greekfish has in his stack, which is well over 500,000.
Yeah, it's going to be a powerful play because Greekfish lays his hand down. Anybody that calls him is going to have him beat, and this could be it right here. haven't seen this guy make any moves at all, but you just don't put the guy on a real big hand here like ace king, ace queen, or a big pair when he makes an all-in bet for that size of money. We're talking about $1 million all-in bet when only the blinds are out there. So you think he's got a small pair or an ace with a weak kicker, and JP read it perfectly.
Wow.
He has made this
It's
call.
a very gutsy call, I think.
Well, I think he's just read him perfectly. You just know a guy wouldn't raise that much with a real big hand in this spot.
You're right, Mike. And there's 500,000 in this pot now. This is, I believe, the first time Kelly has been all in the tournament
Felt like king high.
Well,
with
it
cards
is.
on their backs.
And he's made a great read to get his money in there. He's a 60% favorite, and look, it's come king, king, 8, and bang, bang, bang. It's going to take 2 running cards for JP to win this spot. He needs to catch 2 running hearts or 2 running aces to win it, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen as the deuce of diamonds comes off on the turn. A good sport, and it looks like destiny is on the side of Patrick Funk tonight. The online qualifier from Germany seems to hit the flops and the turn cards at the critical times for the monster pots, Jesse.
He certainly has. He's caught the cards when he's needed them and played them well. Look at this total aggression he's got. He's been conservative, but very aggressive. When he puts chips in the pot, Mike, he raises or re-raises.
Heat 2 has lost JP Kelly, unfortunately. The play on the table in the early stages seemed a lot more sort of careful and considered, and it's getting a lot faster out there now. Do you want to explain to us what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, because so many people, like, I think the play was quite tight early on, so obviously what happens then is that you get people with not enough chips to play with, so they have to go all in or fold, and that's kind of what's happening now. So I mean, I think as also probably maybe the distribution of hands were probably quite bad early on, so maybe now everyone's getting big hands and they're clashing.
So in terms of who's sat at the table now, who is really impressing you with their play, who would you say that would be?
Well, Patrick's played really well, the online qualifier, he's playing well. I think if Phil Laak can get a stack together, he's got a good chance, but I mean, he's quite short stacked at the moment. But no, Patrick's playing really well.
Great, well, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Starry Night at the Palm Beach Casino. And
All
we've
in.
heard
You
a
have to
quick
wait for
all
him,
in.
huh?
Sorry.
Blinds have just gone up, Mike.
No worries, kid.
And
I said a little
Greekfish
prayer
is wasting no time.
Well, he's gone all in with King Jack. He's been called by Wayne
So it's
O'Brien, who
all in
has the
calls
King
there,
10.
right?
And this stuff is going to get forced while there's 4, perhaps even 3, 20 and 40,000.
Well, the Greekfish is going to love this when his opponent turns up the King 10.
Good luck, boys.
He's going to dominate, as we say. Have the same high card, but the kicker is bigger.
And this,
Oh! It's come King 10-9. The Greekfish now has to look for a queen or a jack to win this pot.
Well, now he's got chips back, the Greekfish, but still every pot vital. And for Wayne O'Brien from Toronto, it couldn't be more important.
Well, it's always more important when you're all in.
Opens up some doors.
Now an 8 would win the pot for the Greekfish as well.
8.
Looking for a queen, jack, or an 8.
8, queen, jack. Scudder.
But the 3 comes off. So Lady Luck shining on the Canadian there. Wayne O'Brien taking down that pot and doubling up to stay alive.
There's Ian the Razor Fraser, cruelly knocked out in heat number 1 here to cheer on his mate Greekfish.
I don't think you've got much choice. But I'm saying, I just could have predicted that when I see it. You know, I was going, oh, okay. But as I said, I'm going to be good now. Yeah, as I said, I don't even want to look. I've got, you know what, that trigger happy thing. That trigger happiness. I'm getting it ready.
I'm guessing he's going to look. This is the setup.
Don't look, Andy. You might get nervous.
I haven't looked yet.
You haven't looked?
I haven't looked yet.
Right.
I'm just confident.
Well, he's putting a good speech on it. It's going to may work this time. He's got a nice hand, an ace jack, and certainly I believe he will go all in here.
All in.
He shocked himself finding that ace jack.
And
Oh!
cycle.
Oh, and Phil Laak has made the call.
I got 2 kings.
You're kidding?
No.
I run so good. I run so good.
Greekfish can't believe it, but it's not over yet,
This is what
Mike.
30.2% feels like.
What's the situation? Has he got me covered?
I have 300, 400 exactly, I think.
It's going to be very close between these two. Greekfish can't look. He wants the ace.
Well, all he's been doing is moaning about his bad luck. Let's see what he's going to say if he gets some good luck here.
Can you feel that 30.2% just doing?
Hey, listen, I just got unlucky there, right? I'm
Jack,
doing some luck.
What a moment for Phil Laak. Down to 47,000, Mike. There's 880,000 in this pot.
That was a good flop for Phil Laak, even though his opponent made a pair of jacks, because it cut out the ace of spade that could beat him.
Lock it up with like a 4 of spades.
5?
5 of spades. A double-edged
4 hearts comes off.
Don't do it, Andy.
Really slowly.
Well, the Greekfish needs to catch an ace, a jack, or a 5 that's not a spade to stay alive.
Hold on.
You can't squeeze. Sit back down. I'm so unblessed. You see what I'm saying? You cannot squeeze.
Well, now the Unabomber can't watch. Oh, he wants to sweat it coming off.
Okay, double squeeze, because she goes so slow motion.
Well, both players trying to see what's coming off
I know how
there.
you do it. You do the whole like
Really
tumble
slow.
thing, you know?
Really slow.
We can't
I
wait.
have to wait a minute.
Go as fast as you want. Now we can see it when the world's ready.
Well, let's see what colour
We're
it
going to
is
know
first.
before the world. That's all I know.
Can't we see the colour first?
Phil Laak got to dodge an ace, a jack, or a 5 that's not a spade, and the deuce of clubs comes off.
He's done
So
it.
that's going to do it for Andy Greekfish. Quite an entertaining player. Actually played a pretty decent game here, but wasn't meant to be in the end. Our 4th place finisher.
He made some great passes tonight. He made some great calls tonight. Very good timing. Couldn't win the race there. And as happy as he was to see that ace-jack, Mike,
believe I woke up
that's
with
how
2 kings.
gutted he was to
You know,
see
with
Phil
the
Laak's 2 kings.
42,000 you had left when you should have busted, then it hit 2 hands after that on the trot and managed to survive it.
It means you're never
And
out till
after
you're
all
up.
that, all that talk I just give, and I push my chips there, and then I look down at ace jack. It's a monster forehand.
It's a monster
you know?
four-handed. You have trips.
1, 2,
You just
3,
got cooler,
4,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, it's unbelievable. Remember when he lost that $1.1 million pot by a cruel 2-outer on the turn? He was down to 40,000 or so. Phil Laak is now back in it with 3 players left and sits in a good second chip position.
Heat 2 continues, but we've lost Andy. There was a lot of banter between you and Phil Laak in particular on the table. It seemed like you were trying to, I don't know, get a read on him and give him some misinformation. Is that fair to say?
I think I'm a better player than Phil Laak, and I just wanted to get him heads up. No, he's a great guy, great player. I respect him. You know, people, these old school players like Phil, they don't get the respect they deserve, and he's a nice guy, and he's a good player, as you can see today, and I really thought it was going to be heads up, so I was starting to banter a little bit early. But you see what happened to me, which is normal, and that's that.
But you're really happy, I imagine, with your play here today. There's some very good hands.
I played well at times. I played 4 or 5 hands, which I think is probably incorrectly, but 4 or 5 mistakes in a tournament ain't that drastic, but I run bad, and I've been running bad for a long time, and it's got to the point now where I'm actually starting to question myself, and I know people will be watching at home looking at this interview thinking, oh, look at the big baby, but really, it happens to me so often, and if my name was James Aikenhead, or someone like that, then I would win all of these. But there you go. When you get your money in like I have, then I can't complain. It's just unlucky, you know?
It is unlucky, and commiserations. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, no problem. Lovely speaking to you, Karen.
And you.
Thank you.
That's no problem. I mean, if it would be me, no problem.
Well, here he's got the 5-4 hearts. And he's going to lay it down.
All in.
It's all in and called right here. So Wayne going to try to make his move right here.
2 nines.
He's got 2 nines.
10-5. You're sick.
Patrick making the first move, as we say at this final table, with a 10-5 offsuit, and it may bite him.
Yeah, that could cure him of doing that again. But I think Patrick's made, the standard play, and Wayne's just found a hand to call him with.
Oh, and a 10 comes right up, but it's not over for Wayne yet. He's flopped a straight draw to go with his 2 nines, but you see the disappointed look in his face as his opponent flopped the only overcard that he had to take the lead.
It's a cruel game now. The 7s and jacks.
And 9s. So 7-9 jack is what Wayne O'Brien is going to have, or this Canadian will be heading back to the Americas. Nope, 3 of spade comes off.
Big game, fellas.
That's tough luck for Wayne O'Brien right there. Really got unlucky to lose that pot to get knocked out of this tournament. And that's the power of chips, where you can make those moves when you have chips.
Wow.
Then you get lucky on top of it.
I guess nearly everybody who's in London, as far as the poker players go, during this week of tournaments is going to be making their way down to the Palm Beach Casino. There's cash games going on.
I'm all in.
All in.
Re-raise and call.
Wow.
You think he's got King 10 beat? He doesn't have to.
I sure do think
you
he's
do.
got it beat.
Yeah.
And Patrick made a very quick call there with a King 10 offsuit in my mind to double up this guy. That could give him the big chip
I didn't think he was going
lead.
to call. That was one of those I didn't think he was going to call bets.
Well,
Maybe I should
Phil
have stop
Laak.
and go. Call and then see the flop and just bet it all. Let's see if that would have won it for me, you know?
well, Phil Laak going to have to get very lucky to stay alive in this tournament to take the chip lead. Made a move with the Queen 7, hit the Queen.
Wow.
So he has taken the lead with 2 queens.
Stop and go would have been bad.
Patrick is going to have to
Keep
catch
it
a
low.
king or 2 running cards to make a straight. Otherwise, Phil Laak is going to double up and take the lead in this heads-up battle.
I can't take it in my bones.
Patrick can't believe it. He'll still have about a 1.1 million.
But 3 comes off, so we're down to the river card. Patrick must catch a king to win this pot and take this table right now.
Keep it low, low.
This game goes on,
Okay.
and that's the second time they've played a pot over $1 million together, Mike. Now they're 1-1.
Well, last time you did the little raise,
Well,
you
and the
had
first
10-6,
time
so
at
I'm
this
thinking,
table
okay,
tonight
I got it. I see
that
the
I
pattern.
think Patrick Funk
Your
was
patterns are
unlucky.
changing.
He's been lucky in all those other situations. Here he was unlucky. He read Phil Laak beautifully because he made the quickest call I've ever seen for that kind of money.
Yeah.
And Phil Laak got lucky, outflopped him, tried to make a move, got lucky to win that pot, double up, and take the chip lead.
What a reversal. What a reversal. And I wonder how Patrick Funk is going to handle this adversity, Mike.
Anybody's game.
Yeah, the next pot is going to be the most crucial one. The next pot where there's any chips in there.
Look at the hands this guy's catching in a heads-up situation. King, queens, 2 jacks, ace, kings. It's unbelievable how many hands he's picked up.
I'm all in.
Well,
Bansi,
Well,
all in, and a
Phil Laak better hope he's got a pair for his sake, because if he doesn't, he's dominated.
no, he's in bad shape once again.
Oh, I should have looked at the flop.
And
Well, here we go. It's ace-8,
Second place for me.
Patrick, ace-king.
Ooh, I should have looked at the flop.
Unbelievable how many hands he's held at this table.
Ace king.
It could almost be over right now if Patrick wins this pot with the ace-king.
look
It
at
will
the
be
flop,
over, I
you know?
think, if Phil Laak wins it. But he's going to have to get very lucky to win this pot. Well, a couple clubs out there. 3 clubs on the
Oh,
flop.
my
Phil Laak
gosh.
has a
Come on.
flush draw.
10.
He's flopped 4 clubs.
he can hardly believe it.
10.
Patrick Funk can hardly believe it. It's a flip now. It's a flip from here.
Well, it's unbelievable. He's looking for an 8 or a club.
dimes.
The club, it's over.
6. Oh my lord.
A deuce of clubs comes off. Phil Laak has outdrawn Patrick yet again to take down this title. Unbelievable how unlucky Phil Laak was to lose that 2-outer for 1.1 million
I had it
earlier.
covered. I don't even know.
Forget about it. Scratch it off the pad. He's made up for it here by hitting 4 clubs to
can't
make
win
a
the really
flush
good pots
to
unless
win
you
this
stuff
pot
it in wrong,
when he was
yeah.
dominated.
It's not about who
I
gets
think
the
so.
luck, Mike. It's who gets the luck last.
I got it all in bad.
And
Ace 8
Phil
against
Laak,
ace king, but I made a flush with the 8 of clubs.
he has played well. He played a lot of heart. You got to give credit to this young qualifier, Patrick Funk, who's going to be going to the turbo and must be shell-shocked right now.
Patrick came second in heat number 2. That means you go into the playoff heat. But I've heard that this is not a great result. You wanted the spot at the final table, and even having to wait now for the playoff heat, you're not too happy about that.
No, I had a big chip lead and I got the money in as a favorite and I thought I can make the final table.
I had 46,000 and the blinds were 1530. So that's it's a tad more than 1.5 big blinds. It's like 1.5 something big blinds. And then I was like, well, if you win 3 in a row, you're at like 50, 100, 200, 400. I was like, 400 I can move with. So I said, just got to win 3 in a row. And then things happened. And then, wow.
It's a hell of a comeback.
I thought heads up, ace 8. I mean, especially from watching the commentary thing, when I saw these guys, ace 8 was like an instant all in is what it looked like. So I install in and I see the ace king and I'm, admittedly sick, but I'm like, well, I can come back next week. I love England. It's all good. 3 clubs and I just started thinking, give me a club. I couldn't believe it came, like to lock it up. It wasn't even like an offsuit 8.
because now he can pop the king on me. And it was like, boom, that was. No, he wouldn't even have to pop a king. No, he would if I hit an offsuit 8, of course. Yeah, I'm just like dizzy. My head's dizzy. 1.5 big blinds to winning it.
It was a hell of a comeback. And you know what? This final table is shaping up to be one hell of a final table. Congratulations.
Thanks, John.
Congratulations to Phil Laak. He goes straight through to the final table, and Patrick Funke gets a second chance in our runners-up heat. Join us next time for Heat 3, and what a top-class lineup it is. We have Ladies World Series of Poker bracelet winner Jennifer Tilley, Irish Open champion Neil Channing, Roland DeWolf Triple Crown holder, and the high-stakes online cash supremo Tom Dwan. And they're all vying for a spot at the final table here at the Party Poker World Open 5.
You're uber golden.
Thanks for great TV.
I'm in the hand now.
I have to take this seriously now.
He tried to outplay me. I
You showed him you give up and then you win.
That's right.